Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the best version of yourself. More disciplined, more confident, more successful, more in control. Now answer this honestly. Why does that version of you feel so far away? Because if self-improvement really worked the way it's sold, you wouldn't still feel behind. You wouldn't feel broken. You wouldn't feel like you're constantly fixing yourself. Yet millions of people read the books, watch the videos, follow the routines, and still feel quietly dissatisfied. What if the problem is not you? What if the problem is the psychology behind self-improvement itself? Because beneath motivation, habits, and productivity, there is a darker system at work, and almost nobody talks about it. Self-improvement is sold as hope, a promise that you can redesign your mind, upgrade your habits, and become someone better. On the surface, this sounds healthy: growth, learning, progress. But psychology shows that when improvement becomes an identity instead of a tool, it quietly changes how the brain sees the self. Instead of "I want to grow," it becomes "I am not enough." This is where the dark side begins. The human brain builds identity from repeated emotional signals. When you constantly consume self-improvement content, your brain is repeatedly exposed to one hidden message: something is wrong with you. You need fixing. You need upgrading. You need to become someone else. Over time, this trains the nervous system to associate the present self with deficiency, not failure, deficiency. Psychologists call this the deficit identity. It's a self-concept built around what you lack instead of what you are. And once this identity forms, motivation stops being about curiosity or mastery. It becomes about escape. You're no longer moving toward growth. You're running away from who you think you are. This is why so many people feel anxious while doing positive things like journaling, habit tracking, and productivity planning. On the outside, it looks healthy. Internally, the brain experiences it as constant self-monitoring, constant correction, constant judgment. The brain was never designed to live under continuous evaluation. Neuroscience shows that the threat system and learning system share deep overlap. When improvement is driven by self-criticism, the brain activates the same circuits used for danger. Cortisol rises, attention narrows, mistakes feel heavier, progress feels fragile. Instead of curiosity, you get control. Instead of confidence, you get pressure. This is the first dark mechanism of self-improvement. It converts growth into surveillance. You begin watching yourself the way an authority watches behavior. Your sleep, your diet, your focus, your thoughts, your emotions. Everything becomes something to optimize, something to fix, something to upgrade. Slowly, the mind stops being a home and starts feeling like a project that is never finished. And a project that is never finished never allows rest. Psychology shows that satisfaction does not come from progress alone. It comes from integration. The feeling that who you are now is allowed to exist. When that permission disappears, even success feels empty. Achievements stop producing safety. They only reset the standard. This is why self-improvement often creates a strange emotional pattern. People become more productive, but less peaceful. More disciplined, but more tense. More informed, but less grounded. Because the brain has learned to link worth with forward motion, and forward motion never ends. There is always another habit, another routine, another flaw, another level. The second dark mechanism is what psychologists call motivational displacement. When improvement becomes central to identity, the original reasons for growth are replaced. You don't wake up to learn, you wake up to maintain. You don't work to express ability, you work to prevent falling behind. This is a subtle shift, but it changes everything. Motivation driven by interest expands the nervous system. Motivation driven by avoidance contracts it. One feels open, the other feels urgent. One produces energy, the other consumes it. Most modern self-improvement culture unknowingly trains avoidance-based motivation. You are shown ideal versions of humans, optimized routines, and extreme success stories. Your brain automatically compares. And comparison is not neutral. Comparison activates social threat circuits. The same systems that once protected humans from exclusion now activate when scrolling productivity videos. This means that much of what feels like inspiration is processed by the nervous system as social ranking. Am I behind? Am I wasting time? Am I falling short? Over time, improvement becomes a way to regulate fear. Fear of being left out. Fear of being ordinary. Fear of being unimportant. This is why many people feel driven but not fulfilled, active but not satisfied, busy but not stable. The mind is working, but the nervous system is not safe. The third dark mechanism is dependency. The improvement loop itself becomes a psychological regulator. Motivation videos, habit apps, productivity systems. They don't just provide tools, they provide emotional relief. Each new method creates a small dopamine release, a sense of control, a feeling of starting again. The brain begins associating new system with new self. A new self always feels hopeful, but hope without resolution creates a cycle. The brain chases the feeling of reset. New book, new routine, new challenge, new identity. Each one promises transformation. Each one fades. And when it fades, the mind doesn't ask whether the system was flawed. It assumes the self failed. So it searches again. This is not growth. This is psychological substitution, replacing internal stability with external frameworks. Instead of building self-trust, the mind builds method trust. And when methods fail, the person collapses back into deficiency. This is why some of the most disciplined people secretly feel the most lost when they stop optimizing. Without routines, trackers, goals, and improvement plans, silence feels threatening. Stillness feels like falling behind. Presence feels like stagnation, because the brain has learned that being is not enough. Only becoming is allowed. The fourth dark mechanism is emotional bypassing. Self-improvement often focuses on control, mindset, and behavior. But the human psyche is not built only on behavior. It is built on unprocessed emotion, grief, anger, shame, fear, loneliness. These are not problems to optimize. They are signals to integrate. When improvement culture pushes constant forward motion, emotional processing gets postponed. Pain becomes something to outperform. Trauma becomes something to outwork. Insecurity becomes something to silence with confidence. But psychology shows that unprocessed emotion does not disappear. It reorganizes. It moves into the body, into attention, into relationships, into self-talk. It shows up as irritability, emptiness, restlessness, or unexplained dissatisfaction. Many people think they need more discipline. What they actually need is permission to feel without fixing. The darkest part is that self-improvement often trains people to distrust their current emotional state. Tired means lazy, sad means weak, confused means unproductive. The internal world becomes an enemy to overcome instead of a system to understand. When this happens, people lose emotional authority. They stop asking, "What am I experiencing?" and start asking, "How do I correct this?" This turns psychology into mechanics, and humans are not machines. The fifth dark mechanism is identity fragmentation. Each new version of the self becomes a temporary costume. The disciplined self, the confident self, the productive self, the healed self. Instead of integrating personality, people begin rotating identities. Psychologically, this weakens coherence, the sense of being one continuous person across time. When coherence weakens, stability weakens, motivation becomes volatile, self-esteem becomes conditional, purpose becomes trend-based. This is why many people secretly feel like they are playing roles in their own life, optimized in public, uncertain in private, motivated online, confused offline, because improvement was built around performance instead of integration. So what is the alternative? Psychology does not reject growth, but it defines it differently. Real development does not start with fixing. It starts with contact. Contact with thoughts without immediately reframing them. Contact with emotion without immediately managing it. Contact with behavior without immediately optimizing it. The nervous system changes when it feels seen, not when it feels monitored. Growth becomes sustainable when the current self is included, not bypassed. When improvement tools are used to support experience, not replace it. When discipline grows out of understanding instead of pressure. The paradox is this: the moment the brain stops trying to escape who you are, change becomes easier. Because change is no longer a rescue mission. It becomes a natural extension of clarity. Self-improvement becomes dark when it is used to run from the present self. It becomes powerful when it is used to work with it. The psychology nobody talks about is simple but uncomfortable. Many people are not improving to grow. They are improving to feel okay. And feeling okay is not a performance problem. It is a relationship problem. The relationship with the self. Until that relationship shifts, no habit will be enough. No routine will satisfy. No upgrade will feel complete. Because the mind is not asking to be optimized. It is asking to be understood.